Hi there! Today I'm going to create this birthday card with shaker balloons. Let's start! We're going to start with watercolor paper and distress ink pads. I have worn lipstick, broken china and spiced marmalade. What I'm doing is dabbing my distress ink on my acrylic block, and because it reacts with water, I'm taking my water barrel brush for watercoloring and spread the ink around. And then dab it or smoosh it on my watercolor paper. I've learned this smooshing technique from Laura Bazin on Craftsy. She's so funny and so fantastic. I'm really glad I took her course. Craftsy is an online school for all kinds of skills, from cooking to scrapbooking. The neatest thing about it is that they have an app that you can download and follow along on your mobile devices. I did it on my iPad when I was breastfeeding, and I found it so helpful because I could just download a course, and while I was breastfeeding I could just follow along, and I don't know, it felt great. It felt like I was doing something useful while I was the majority of the time feeding my child. Oh, and another one of the perks is once you have purchased or downloaded a course, they also have loads of free courses. You have it for life. I'm in love with this concept of learning. So once I was done smooshing, I went ahead and dried everything with my heat gun. And now I'm tracing my card base. Once I've done that, I'm going to stamp my sentiment with Versamark ink, and you guessed it, I'm going to gold emboss it. Yes, this has become one of my favorite techniques. I just can't stay away from my gold embossing powder. Oh, and I'm using a Happy and Smile Simon Says stamp set. So here it is, the moment when everything went wrong and I realized that I didn't like how it turned out. Luckily, I had the other side of my paper to repeat the whole process. So I'm tracing my card once more and stamping and gold embossing my sentiment. But before I'll do that, I'm preparing my surface with my powder tool. This tool will save you tons of frustration, I swear. Because of the powder that you use for embossing is so fine that it will stick to literally anything and everything. The fine powder of the powder tool will prevent that. Once everything is dry and embossed, you can just wipe it off, or usually it's almost invisible, so you won't have to do anything. And now I'm heat setting my sentiment. And once it's set, it looks mighty great. I love the shimmer of the gold and how pretty it looks in contrast with my multicolored background. Okay, time to die cut my balloons, and I don't have a special die for them. What I do have are shapes that I can use to cut out as my balloons, and the strings I can just draw myself. This is a perfect example that you don't have to have every little stamp and die cut that is out there. You can just start with basics and find creative ways to use them. And that smile die cut that you see there was from my round shape. I won't use it in this card, but I will save it for my next project. This is a part where I make a transparent window. I'm just cutting out a piece of photo sleeve. I also use these photo sleeves to make my pocket letter sleeves with my fuse tool. If you want to see how I do it, I'll leave the link in the description box below. And now I'm drawing the strings for my balloons, and I wanted to make it look as if the balloons were floating with the sentiment. When you draw freehand and you make some mistakes, you can always go in with your white Signal Uniball pen and correct them. Here I'm preparing my windows for sequins. I'm sectioning them off, and this will give me also a lot of dimension in my card. And I didn't film the part when I actually put my sequins in and I adhered the panel on the cardstock because my camera stopped filming and I didn't realize it before, it was too late. All you have to remember is that you have to remove the paper of your phone tape before you put the sequins in, and then adhere your card. Because if you do it in the wrong order, you will risk sequins flying all over your craft area.
Believe me, I learned it the hard way.
And this is my finished result. To make the card extra special, I'm going to also gold emboss my envelope. And here I just powdered it with my powder tool, and you'll see the residue of that powder. But once I'm finished, I'm just gonna wipe it away and you won't see anything. So I'm repeating the same process as I did with my card. I'm just stamping my sentiment with Versamark ink and sprinkling it with gold powder and heat setting it. So now my card is finished. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you had fun and got inspired. If you did, hit the like button below and subscribe. And don't forget to check out my website for more tips, tricks, and awesome giveaways.